Arjun was a young man who never believed in ghosts. He was fearless, always laughing at old superstitions and horror stories. When he heard about the abandoned mansion at Black Hollow, he decided to go there alone. The villagers had warned him to stay away, saying the house was cursed. They claimed people who went inside were never seen again, and if anyone returned, they came back broken, silent, pale and trembling. But Arjun didn't care. He packed his camera and flashlight, determined to prove everyone wrong. He reached the mansion just as the sun disappeared behind the hills. The house stood like a dark skeleton against the red sky, its windows shattered, its roof cracked, and its garden overgrown with twisted weeds. Cold wind howled through broken glass like the cries of trapped souls. He pushed the heavy iron gate open and walked slowly through the dead garden. The front door was old and swollen with damp, and it groaned loudly as he forced it open. Dust rushed out like the house was exhaling after decades. Inside, everything was frozen in time. Faded wallpaper hung like torn skin from the walls. Old paintings had their faces scratched out. Furniture was covered with thick white sheets, like bodies lying in coffins. The silence was heavy, almost alive. Every sound Arjun made echoed too loudly, as if the house was listening. He explored the ground floor first, moving through the wide halls. There were claw marks on the walls, deep and violent. The kitchen was black with old fire damage, and the smell of burnt wood and something metallic lingered. A cracked clock hung on the wall, its hands stuck at midnight. Upstairs, the air grew colder. He found a bedroom that still had a broken bed and a cracked mirror. Dust floated like grey snow in the beam of his flashlight. On the dresser lay a single children's shoe, tiny and worn. He picked it up and suddenly the mirror behind him cracked loudly. He dropped the shoe in shock. The sound echoed down the halls, and somewhere in the distance something began moving, slow footsteps. He froze, heart pounding, and listened. The steps came closer, closer, then silence. He turned his light toward the hallway, but it was empty. Trying to calm himself, he continued down the corridor and found a locked door at the end. The wood around the lock was splintered. Someone had forced it before. He pushed it open and the smell hit him, rot, mold, and old blood. The room was a child's bedroom. Dusty toys lay scattered on the floor. The walls were covered in childish drawings of a tall black figure with glowing red eyes. Every drawing showed the figure standing closer and closer to the bed. Suddenly the air grew freezing. His breath came out like mist. The door slammed shut behind him. He spun around, but no one was there. The toys began to move slowly, rolling across the floor by themselves. In the cracked mirror, a small boy appeared, pale with hollow black eyes and a neck bent at an impossible angle. The boy slowly raised his finger and pointed behind Arjun. Arjun turned around, nothing. He looked back at the mirror. The boy was now standing right behind him in the reflection, mouth wide open, screaming silently. The mirror shattered. Arjun ran from the room and stumbled through the halls, but the house had changed. The corridors twisted into new shapes. Every door he opened led back to the same bedroom with the shattered mirror. The whisper of a woman's voice echoed through the house, soft at first, then louder, calling his name. Arjun! He ran down the stairs and into the basement door. It was heavy and the wood was cracked with claw marks. He forced it open. The smell was unbearable, rot, damp earth and something sweet like decayed flowers. The basement was dark, his flashlight flickering. He saw long scratch marks on the stone walls. Chains hung from the ceiling. At the far end, something moved. Slowly, a woman floated into the light. She wore a torn wedding dress soaked in old blood. Her hair was tangled and crawling with spiders. Her eyes glowed red in the dark. Arjun froze.
The woman smiled, a broken, twisted smile, and whispered, "You woke me up." She screamed. The sound shattered the light bulb above.
Darkness swallowed everything. Arjun ran blindly, slamming into walls, falling over broken wood. Hands, cold and bony, grabbed at his legs from the shadows. Faces with hollow eyes appeared in the darkness around him, whispering and screaming at the same time. He clawed his way up the stairs, burst through a door, and found himself back in the same hallway again. The woman was standing at the other end, floating closer, her mouth stretching wide until it tore her face. Her scream shook the walls. Paintings fell, doors splintered, windows cracked. Arjun ran toward the front door and it opened by itself. He fell out into the dead garden and kept running until he reached the road. He didn't stop until the mansion was far behind him. Villagers found him the next morning lying by the roadside, trembling, eyes wide open and lips pale. He never spoke again. The house still stands on the cliff. Some nights people say they see a light moving inside, and a woman in a wedding dress standing at the upstairs window, waiting for the next soul to enter.